This next video is done in part with turkey balls.
Drop it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Cheap Noise in the House, the channel where we talk about electronic games and music production. I'm Cheap Noise and survey says I'm in the house. And today we're going to take a look at this really old game from Milton Bradley. This is Pocket Simon that was released in 1980. This is probably one of the first kind of miniaturization of a Simon-type game. Now, they did release the original Simon before, which was in 1978, as well as its successor, the Super Simon, which was in 1979, and then they released this in 1980. So, as I said, this is kind of the first pocket-sized Simon game, even though it's not really pocket-sized compared to my hand. It's pretty big. It won't really fit in your pocket, but I guess that's the best they could do back in the day. So as you can see, I love the retro Space Ace design on this game. I like the metal panel here with all the switches, all the buttons, the colorful buttons at the top, the bulbs, just the retro sound. It feels like something you'd control a spaceship with more than you'd play a game with, if that makes any sense. But anyway, let's take a look at all the controls. So on the top, you have your 4 game buttons or Simon buttons. These will be familiar if you've played a Simon game before. They will light up. Of course, there are bulbs underneath each button that I think you can replace, just like you could on the original and the Super Simon, even though mine didn't come with bulbs out of the box, but there's possibilities that it comes with bulbs inside of the unit, which I haven't looked at, so I can't tell you for sure. These buttons, they press a little bit, even though they're not really clicky. They don't click into place. They're more pressure sensitive buttons, if that makes any sense. But you know, they have a definite push to them. Underneath, yeah, my label's peeling off. I need to glue it back in. Underneath, we have 3 buttons. This is the last button, so you can check your last game that you just did and check your score. In the middle is your ever so important start button, which is used to start the game. And on the right, you have the longest button, which is the longest game and the longest score you've did per session. So that means when you're switching games, the longest will stay there. But if you turn the game off and then back on, the longest will be erased. Then underneath, you have the 2 switches here. This left one is to select the game or to put the game into off. It's in off position right now, but I can switch it to game 1, 2, or 3 by just flicking the switch to one of the 4 positions. Same with the switch on the right. This one selects the level, so right now it's on level 1. You can put it on level 2, 3, or 4, which change the amounts of sequences or number of sequences you have to repeat before the game considers a win. So level 1, you'll have to repeat 8 sequences. Level 2, you'll have to repeat 14. Level 3, you'll have to repeat 20. And level 4, you'll have to repeat 31, as far as I know. If we flip it to the back, as you can see, there's a big speaker grill here, which is kind of unnecessary because the sound only comes out on this little piezo speaker here. So the speaker itself is really small, and it's not really a speaker. It's more of a thing you'd find in a 70s or 80s greeting card more than anything. But, you know, it does the job. If you flip that thing open, you have the battery compartment. As you can see, it takes a 9-volt and 2 AA batteries. And fun fact, if you want to play with no lights, so just the sound, and you want a quieter sound to the game, you don't need the 2 AA's in here. So how it works is the 9-volt controls the CPU or the computer or the microcontroller chip, and the 2 AA batteries control the lights and the amplification of the sound. But without the 2 AA's, you'll still be able to hear the sound. It will just be a lot quieter. So, enough chit-chat. Let's turn the game on. As you can see, it won't do anything when you turn the game on, and the last and longest button won't do anything either, because there's nothing saved. So, why don't we press the start button and start the game? As you can see, it sounds really retro and raw. I kind of like the sound of it. Now, it's on level 1, which means after I've done 8 sequences, the game will end. And this game does speed up, just like any normal Simon does. And it goes really fast at higher speeds. I'm going to try to show you later. And as I said, the game ends because I'm on level 1. Let's switch it to level 3, and let's try again. So again, level 3 technically goes up to 20, even though you can lose at any point. Ah, I failed. And as you can see, now it does that because I failed. Now, if I press the last button, it will play the last game I did. And if I press the longest, it's also the longest game. Let's switch it to level 2 and let's try one more time. Hey, there you have it. So that was game 1. The game does a sequence, you repeat it, and that's basically all it does. Now let's switch to game 2. And in this game, it's called Challenge Simon, so each player adds a sequence when they play. So let me show you. So it gives a color, you do it, and then add one more. And then another player does a sequence, add one more. Then another player does a sequence, adds one more. And the first player loses, or misses, loses, basically. So let's play this one. Loses. So the other player wins. You can also play this game single player, even though there's not really a lot of sense to do it, because you can just do this. Which is a little bit pointless. But now you can check the last, which has changed. And the longest, which is the game I did earlier. And let's go to the final game, which is called Group Simon. This game, each player gets a color, which is not really ideal. I wish they would have done a different game for this. But yeah, each player gets a color, and they have to hit the color in time. So this is a strictly multiplayer game, because if one player tags the color at the incorrect time, the color is out, and there's only 3 colors left in the game. If, let's say, this color is out, it's going to be this one and this one. Let's say one of these is out, so let's say this one wins. So it's strictly a multiplayer game. So blue hits, blue, 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 green, blue, blue, green, green, blue, blue, green, green, blue, 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 green, green, blue, yellow. Come on, give me some red. There you go. Let's say yellow hits it twice. That means Yellow's out of the game, and now it's just green, blue, and red. Let's say blue hits it at the wrong time. Now it's just green and red. I have to mention too, if you complete a level, so let's say you're on level 1, and all the players complete 8 sequences, all the remaining players will win. So red hits it, it's out, and green wins. Now, before we go, I had to show you the gorgeous box that this came in. As you can see, great design. The box is in great condition, even all these years later. So this is one of the sides. The other one, if you can read this, then go ahead. And this is the back. As you can see, they advertise other stuff that they make, that Milton Bradley make. Of course, Milton Bradley now is Hasbro. If we open it up, first thing we have is the warranty card, I believe. So that's cool. And then we have the instruction manual, which is printed and folded like that, which again is really cool. And then underneath, the seller at which I got it from kept the packing material inside of the box, so Simon is protected, which is really nice of them. So shout out to them if they listen to this video. So there you have it. That was a quick look at the first miniaturization of the classic Simon game by Milton Bradley. This was Pocket Simon. Now, of course, they made other miniaturizations after that. They made the Pocket Simon 1995, which looks kind of the same, except it's clear and takes 4 AA's instead of 2 AA's and a 9-volt. Of course, it has an improved speaker, improved sound, improved lights, I think, but it's basically the same thing. They made another one in 1998, which is kind of circle, but it was still clear. They made another one in 2002. They made a pocket version of the Trickster that came out in 2005. I think the Pocket 1 came out in 2006. They also made the Carabiners. They made one in 2009 and one in 14, I think, which are roughly the same. The difference is one of them is a lot bigger and runs out of batteries really quickly. And then, of course, they made the Simon Micro. And the newest miniaturization of Simon games is probably World's Smallest Simon that came out last year. So there you go, a brief history during this video. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, cheers!